Yo, hit that subscribe button. Give me the HBO special, help a brother out. So, Larry Hoover just got pardoned on his federal charges. So we can go on the full history of Larry Hoover and let's talk about it. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, first of all, we got early life. Born November 30th, 1950, birthplace Jackson, Mississippi, United States of America. Moved to Chicago as a child, Hoover's family relocated to Chicago, Illinois. Background: raised in the impoverished west side of Chicago, Hoover was exposed to early street life and crime. He reportedly began engaging in gang-related activity early as the age of 12. All right, the formation of the Gangster Disciples. Initial affiliation in his teenage years, Hoover joined a gang called the Supreme Gangsters. Merging with the Black Disciples in the late 1960s, Hoover merged his Supreme Gangsters with David Barksdale's Black Disciples, forming the Black Gangster Disciples Nation, or BGDN. David Barksdale's death. Barksdale died in 1974 from injuries sustained in a prior shooting. After his death, Hoover took on a leadership role in the organization. Criminal activity and conviction. Murder conviction. In 1973, Hoover was convicted of ordering the murder of a 19-year-old William Pookie Young, a neighborhood drug dealer, sentenced to 150 to 200 years in prison. He began serving his sentence at Stateville Correctional Center in Crest Hill, Illinois, for control from prison. Despite being behind bars, Hoover continued to exert influence over the gangster disciples from prison within. Notably, he expanded the group's operations involving drug trafficking, extortion, and other criminal activities. The gang grew in size and influence in Chicago and other U.S. cities throughout the 1980s and 1990s. All right. Political and community facade. In the early 1990s, Hoover attempted to rebrand the Gangster Disciples as a community-focused organization called Growth and Development. This initiative aimed to present the organization as a positive force focusing on education, self-help, and community service. Supporters claimed Hoover had turned his life around, while critics and law enforcement said it was a cover for continuing criminal operations. Federal indictment and supermax imprisonment. In 1995, federal charges after a multi-year undercover operation, including wiretaps and informants. Hoover was indicted on drug conspiracy, extortion, and money laundering, and running a criminal enterprise from prison. Authorities gathered evidence that he continued to control the Gangster Disciples' operations while in prison. In 1997 sentencing, Hoover was sentenced to 6 life sentences. Current status: he is currently incarcerated at ADX Florence Supermax Prison in Colorado, one of the most secure prisons in the United States. Cultural impact: Hoover has been referenced heavily in hip-hop culture, often seen as a controversial legend and a symbol of black leadership gone astray. Notable mentions: Kanye West and Drake both referred to Hoover and advocated for his release. In 2021, Kanye and Drake had a Free Larry Hoover concert in Los Angeles to raise awareness of Hoover's imprisonment and push for criminal justice reform. Supporters argue that Hoover has reformed and has his long imprisonment as an example of systemic racial injustice. His legacy and current debate. Divided views. Supporters see him as a reformed man, possibly capable of reducing gang violence through his influence. Critics, law enforcement, and others maintain that he remains a dangerous figure who built an empire of violence. Parole and clemency. Hoover has applied for clemency multiple times, but as of now, he remains in federal custody with no significant movements towards release. Larry Hoover's life represents intersection of organized crime, community leadership, black urban politics, mass incarceration, from gang leader to figure wrapped in efforts to reform. His story continues to stir debate. And also recently, Trump pardoned him on his federal charges. He still has state charges, though. So he still has about 200 years of state charges. So that's up with that. So hit that subscribe button.